You mentioned Ghazi Baba as well, and of course, Ghazi Baba, and you had a first-hand encounter, obviously, which has also been well
Yes.
documented, on many podcasts, also in the movie that's been made, on you and the encounter as well. What is his story? Where did Ghazi Baba first come in from? How did he grow in prominence? How did he command, the power that he actually did amongst the militant cadre?
He was a terrorist class apart and a very trusted person of Maulana Masood. He had got a very rich experience of fighting inside Afghanistan against Russian forces and well-trained person, especially surviving in guerrilla attacks. So those were the master qualities of Ghazi Baba. Because if you see the chief of chief of Huji in jail just after 39 days adventure inside Indian territory, and his deputy is crossing line of control, reaching in JNK territory, and making landmark attacks, including 3 to 4 attempts in the previous century, including 1994 kidnapping of 4 tourists, 1995 August kidnapping of 6 tourists, and again mass murders, and finally the conspiracy of IC 814. All these things, and one more attempt for the jailbreak of Kot Balwal in Jammu. So all these attempts were already done by Ghazi Baba and his team in the past millennium, just to get Maulana freed from Indian jail. Now, after release of Maulana and Jaish-e-Mohammed came into existence in January 2000, again he survived and he ensured Parliament in session is attacked in the daylight in Delhi when 242 member of Parliament are sitting inside. Vice President just concluded his bhashan.
Correct.
Though the attack was not successful and the attackers were killed outside, but his planning was perfect. And penetrating the security dome, entering right inside the premises of Parliament was itself a very big success. And he was doing everything sitting from Kashmir, bringing suiciders inside Delhi, putting them in a rented house in North Campus area, arranging a ambassador car, fake number, fake pass, creating a space in the car to put the RDX, planning to explode. Everything was done by him. And before that, he had already demonstrated a suicide attack on JNK Assembly attack in 1st October 2001.
Correct.
So
and that led to far higher casualties also.
I am the witness of the attack. I was there only in Kashmir only, and I was witness to the JNK Assembly attack, handling the post-attack situation also, killing the terrorists. But planning something in hinterland, because generally people think of a terrorist doing something in Kashmir territory. But if you successfully do it in Delhi, do it in Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata, Chennai, Lucknow, then the entire length and breadth of the country is threatened. Your entire security wall is shaken. So that is the thing which makes the Jaish-e-Mohammed very special, and also the talent and planning capacity of Ghazi Baba to that level. And finally, his chapter was closed.
Yeah, and speaking of that, so that entire week, between the 23rd of August and the 30th of August, there had been many instances, right? There was Mumbai had those blasts. Prime Minister Vajpayee was visiting Kashmir,
yes.
At that time. In fact, I think a lot of activities were being planned around, his
Yes,
visit,
yes.
as well. And in fact, I was also listening to you where you mentioned that was it Ansari Bhai? I think he was one of the
Ansar Bhai.
Ansar Bhai was one of the guys who was actually caught
Deputy chief,
again,
deputy chief,
just
deputy
by
chief.
chance. I think he was on his bicycle
Yes,
with
yes,
his
yes,
suicide
yes.
vest and everything else, and maybe he didn't he panicked, he couldn't blow
Panic,
himself up.
yes, that was
But
the reason.
amazing story, and tell our viewers about how Ansar Bhai led to the carpenter, that led to the finding of the hideouts and the final encounter.
Actually, as you told that was the time, that was a periodicity of 3.5 years, 4 years, which marked a very important events all over the world. Starting Kargil, then again change of the millennium, IC 814 hijacking, followed by suicide attack era in Kashmir, and again October 2001 JNK Assembly attack, followed by 9/11 in America, followed by 13 December 2001 Parliament attack. So all these happened in a span of 3 years. Internationally also. Again, some development between India and Pakistan. Bajpayee-Musharraf meet,
Hanji.
Agra summit,
Yes.
slowing down some tehreek and again talking something to improve the relationship. That was also happening. Now this, I think these are the rogue elements and these are the proxy elements of Pakistan. Many a times they are also not in a full control of those handlers. That is my experience. They handle, they control, but many times they also do many things at their own will.
So they've gone rogue in a way.
Rogue,
Jo man
because
mein
you
aa raha hai,
cannot
they're doing
control
that.
100%.
Yeah.
If you keep a cobra in your courtyard, every time cobra is not going to listen your command, because that is in nature, prakriti.
So true.
That happened with Ghazi Baba. So even if, although it is unconfirmed, even if there was some attempt between both the countries to improve the relationship, I think Jaish-e-Mohammed, Ghazi Baba, were the entity who were not basically following the complete dictum coming from across the border. So they wanted to do something very special. And in a bid of doing that, they attacked all these two institutions. After that, he started hitting the morale of the forces by a very different technique of guerrilla attack. Guerrilla attack is you keep in hiding, you don't disclose your position, and you keep targeting your enemy by a very unconventional way. So there were suicide killers in Kashmir and also silent pistol killers. There was a group of pistol killers. Pistol killers were so frequently moving across Kashmir that every day there was casualty of some uniformed personnel. Pistol is very small, it is very easy to hide. Once you reach to the body of a person, live person, he is unaware. Who are you? Just taking out the pistol, shooting, having no noise, the person is fallen, bleeding, dying, and you left the scene.
Mixed in the crowd.
So
and
you missed in the
disappeared.
crowd. You are not being caught. You are not being arrested. It had become a big mystery in 2000, 2001, 2002. He guided these attacks for almost 4 years. So everybody were perplexed.
And what was the casualties? Like how many people would they
I
have?
think 70 to 80 casualties. Those are big casualties. That is my estimate, 70 to 80.
And all people in uniform.
All people in uniform. Very few killings of any civilian. Maybe 1 or 2 informer, 1 or 2 sympathizer, but mostly the uniform. And irrespective of the badge, what badge you are wearing, that doesn't material. It should be uniform, khaki, OG, disruptive, camouflage dress, JNK police, any force. Just kill and leave. So that the morale of the forces was basically attacked. It was followed by grenade attacks also. Grenade is also very safe thing. You put in pocket, once you throw, thereafter you again disappear in the crowd and you are never caught. And suicide attack. Suicide attack era basically started by Jaish-e-Mohammed. Suicide attack is basically against the campuses. But the security forces were staying in that part of geography of our JNK without any proper premises because they were not made to be there.
Correct.
They just reached and occupied some makeshift building, some makeshift arrangement, no boundary wall, nothing to stop a person entering inside the campus except a sentry.
Correct.
And they took advantage of that and they spread the suicide attack operations against the security forces. Ghazi probably became very ambitious by declaration of the visit of Prime Minister in the month of August 2003. So he shifted his base from interior to heart of the city. So once he shifted from this Lam area, Lam, Gandarbal, Zakura, Tral area, these were the difficult mountains of this Pir Panjal. He shifted his base inside Srinagar city. And his base was in my area of responsibility. I also didn't know because he was operating silently from specially designed hideouts, which used to be made with the help of carpenters, local carpenters. some local level designer, some CCTV setup thing. Those days we are fighting openly with the group of terrorists. We are not so much aware about that technology being used by the person inside a very thickly populated area. So, with the declaration of Prime Minister visit, probably he accelerated the killing spree little on a very higher side. And we used to note down everything historically through conversation of the wireless set, making some database. No technology at all was available with us. Entire technology was the weapon we were using, and our mental technology. I mean, just human end, purely human end. So, on the day of Prime Minister visit, there was a suicide attack in Lal Chowk, although it didn't affect the cavalcade of Prime Minister. But it was an independent fight against the suiciders and all were killed. There was some casualty from our side, but the visit was totally safe. Overnight stay of Prime Minister and fire was continued to clear the terrorists from the hidden house. Next day morning, once PM was basically on the way to Delhi, he was in the return journey. Then the second suicider, Ansar Bhai, who was deputy chief of Ghazi Baba, he basically had a plan to attack at some important position in Kashmir to make a big news. Because basically their purpose is to get highlighted in international media. He tried and en route, just he set out and he was basically confronted by a small patrol party of my battalion. And boys were very smart. They just overpowered him. And he was also, I think, little shaky. So he didn't explode. But he was caught with complete equipment, entire accessories, equipment, explosive, magazine, grenades, pistol, rifle, everything, wireless set. He was brought before us. The boys, they just took him in the car and dumped inside and interrogation started by the time PM returned to Delhi. And that was the interrogation on 28th of August, which basically led us to reach inside his hideout, because on the overnight recovery of that Pakistani terrorist, we also caught hold of the house owner, who after interrogation revealed about the location of one carpenter who basically had designed the hideout of Ghazi Baba. So on 29th, throughout the day we interrogated him. We had 3 people, one Pakistani, one Makan Malik, and one carpenter. Separately, so 3 in 3 different rooms interrogation was continued. And by evening, we came to know about one of the hideout of Ghazi Baba, which the carpenter had designed. But that time he was not sure whether you will get Ghazi Baba in that hideout. It was not sure. But it was also not ruled out. We raided on 29th night, we raided the house, and on 3rd floor, it was a 1-to-1 gun battle in a very small room. And for initial moments, initial minutes, we were totally clueless where he is, because the entire room was vacant. There was no trace of any human being except a very suspicious mirror fitted on one of the wall, little extraordinary size. And it was fitted with complete CCTV with night vision device, which was not visible to us. After encounter, those things were taken out from that mirror, and it was basically presented before the media. This is the CCTV. Then first time in my life, I could see the CCTV on the TV screen, because that time I was already in the hospital. So you can imagine the level of preparation, level of his preparation to keep safe for years in Kashmir. And it was a very ferocious fight in the room, because there was only one escape stair, team of 9, one got martyr, Balbir Singh, my colleagues, Benu Chandran, Trivedi, they also got injured. One Jawan had a bullet injury through and through in shoulder and hand. So, and operators were injured by the grenade injuries. So lastly, only 3 officers were left inside. There were 2 Pakistanis. They also had got no other escape route except the stair. So things were concluded there. One tried to jump from the terrace, killed on the 1st floor. Ghazi was killed by me, and I was badly injured.
Eight
But in
bullets.
senses, I could talk, I could walk with 7
You
to
still
8
came
bullet
down
shots.
even after all
I
that. After
walked
taking
from
7
third floor.
shots, you still walked
yeah,
down.
Yeah. I came right from third floor walking up to the ground floor. Then one of the Jawan, he basically supported me, put me in the gypsy for medical aid. I briefed the officer कि there could be more militants and upstairs I could see one person killed. I could see my one of the Jawan in a fallen position. I am not very sure whether he's alive or he's not alive. So you don't leave the house. You keep the house totally cordoned because morning is just 1 hour away. So in the morning hour, you have to basically assess and judge whether we have clearly, completely killed the terrorist or there is something more left. And by the time I was taken to the hospital, then the doctors took over me. They started their job. But just before midday, it was informed by my own Director General who flew from Delhi, reached there, and 15 Corps Commander, my wife, they shot and for very quickly visited ICU. And then they shared what actually I did. And then they also shared that about my medical condition. And it was just like a filmy screen, filmy information, some scene moving on your eyes, though live, though truth. But everything, every scene, every conversation, every information was nothing heard before, never seen before. It just came and you heard it and you reacted it and you lived those moments. It happened like this. But chapter of Jaish-e-Mohammed in Valley got closed for 13 years. Still the Jaish-e-Mohammed attacked on 2nd January 2016 on Pathankot Air Base attack. From 2003 to 2016,
Amazing.
Jaish could never rise. After 2016, definitely they again picked up. But leadership, termination of one big leadership in terrorist outfit also impacts their operation for almost 1.5 decades.
Amazing. And you were responsible for cutting off the head of the snake. So,
I got opportunity to do